Good evening, gentlemen. In today's video, I'm actually going to go back to a video I did just 2 evenings ago because the video is titled Why You're Good at Getting Women but Bad at Keeping Them. And somebody had left a comment which I agree with. It was, I feel like you identified the problem well, but no solution. And he's completely correct. And the problem that I identified was guys who are good looking. They're pretty smooth with women. They can regularly and quite easily hook up with girls, go on dates, meet them, get numbers, etc. They're pretty good at that part of the interactions with women. But where they're fucking up is they can't get anything long term despite really wanting to. They're kind of getting, I guess burned out of the more playboy lifestyle, and they'd like to find at least one good girl that they can build something longer with. And I brought this topic up just because it is something that I work with a lot of the guys that I coach. When they do come to me, they're kind of at that point because they're a little bit confused because they're getting girls, but they just can't make anything last. Because most guys out there think to be not good with women means you can't get any dates, no matches, no interactions, and stuff like that. And that does mean that you're not very good with women. But there's more to the story where there's guys who can get those flings but can't go past that. Okay, and that was what I was addressing the other day in that video. So this viewer just said there's no real solution. I didn't offer a solution, and he's right. I didn't offer that great of a solution. So I think this solution, there's obviously different parts to the solution. And what I had said before was that you have to understand there are three different areas when it comes to, women that you have to understand, okay? The first part that you're going to meet women is the pickup, right? How do you pick girls up? How do you meet them? That's the first thing that you will have to learn. The second part is the dating aspect, okay? When you go out a couple times, you keep things going, you build the attraction, you build the arousal, so her feelings start to really develop for you, right? Those kind of like her heart, more emotional depth, and she really is getting to like you more. And then once you're done dating, you move into the relationship phase where you're actually an exclusive couple. She's your girlfriend, you're her boyfriend, that kind of whole 9 yards, and then eventually marriage, if that's something that you're looking to do, or a long-term relationship. So he said I didn't offer any solutions. So today I'm gonna offer a couple of solutions for you guys. And again, I'm keeping the videos tight, but I'm gonna offer you some solutions today. So this specifically answers guys who are good at flings, who want something long-term. How do you start to transition to that if you find yourself getting ghosted after 3 months, 6 months, it's just not going anywhere, okay? First thing that you need to do is you have to build a value system that you will not compromise for short-term hookups, okay? Now, what do I mean by this is that when you're a guy who's going out there hooking up and doing things like that, it's very easy to let things slide just because the main goal is just to hook up. So whether she's your type or not your type, you don't really care about that stuff. You're just like, I just want to hook up. So she could be totally not my type, or she could have a completely different value system than me. And a lot of guys will just push their own aside just to hook up because that's their goal, right? But if you want to start building something long term, then you need to have a value system that you are not going to compromise, because if you're with a girl that goes against your values, then that's obviously not going to go anywhere long term, right? So you're kind of setting yourself up for failure at the very beginning. So that's the first thing to remember, and the first thing for you to do is, what the hell is your own value system? Do you even have one? Okay, what do you believe in? You have to get solid with that, okay? What are things that you will or will not accept? What are things that are important to you? And the girl that you're with, does she value those same things, or are you guys going to be completely at opposite ends of the spectrum? Because if you are, obviously it's hard to build something long-term with somebody who doesn't, if you don't share the same values, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is you need to solve the needy factor by finding out why you're needy. Okay, and I put this here because a lot of the guys, like I said, I'm going from the information of the men that I coach. The guys who are good at getting pussy can't do the long term very well, or if they do, it's always these crazy relationships with high drama girls. And so I said, you have to solve the needy factor, because a lot of these guys are actually a bit needy. So when things go sideways, it's because they were acting needy. Okay. They got the hookups, and then they get more and more like she becomes the focal point of their life. And if you do that, it's going to definitely turn women off. And despite that woman having attraction for you at the beginning, you know, obviously she's hooking up and doing this, going out with you and being with you. But over time, the guy gets more and more needy. That's going to turn a girl off, okay? So you need to get to the source of why you're needy. To answer this question for you, to kind of, you know, this is, at the end of the day, what it is. Neediness is because you have something within you that is not enough. You feel it's not enough. You're lacking something, okay? And not to get psychological, you know, or any of this stuff, but a lot of it, it's you're missing some sort of an emotional component to yourself. You didn't feel loved enough, okay? It could be because you come from a family where, you know, you just didn't feel as loved as you hoped you would, or somehow it's just a missing, okay? So what happens is you kind of fill that with a woman, okay? You make her the focal point, because when you don't have something on your own and it's lacking, that's uncomfortable, it's painful. So most guys, they don't want to be dwelling on that pain, so they fill it up with other shit. And a lot of the times it becomes a woman. And if they can focus on that woman, it helps them to not think about the painful stuff. But what happens is your identity basically becomes that woman. And without her, then you start to go back to feeling that inner pain. So you need to get very comfortable figuring out why you have that neediness to begin with and solve that. Now, at the end of the day, like I said, it's usually some sort of a past family, childhood type of a thing, you know, usually. And it might be hard for you to identify. Obviously, you know, your situation specific to you. I can't identify that in a video like this without talking to you. But that's usually where a lot of the times those things lie. So you have to discover that, go through it, get comfortable feeling uncomfortable, so you don't instinctively and impulsively just always be reaching out to the girl so she can like make you feel better, because she'll sense that and it'll come off as needy, and then things will go sideways. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is you have to be able to say no to free pussy that is high drama. Okay, if you're a guy that's used to hooking up, getting hot chicks, and you're just good at it, because a lot of you guys are good at it, you have to actually learn to say no to free pussy. So some guys don't have to. Like, some guys are really good at juggling different women and can have the sex and get that without getting involved too deeply. It's hard for most men, I would have to say, because once you break a certain barrier, your emotions are going to get involved. The more time you spend with a girl, your emotions are going to get involved, and it's going to be harder and harder to distance yourself from that girl. So you have to be able to say no to free pussy if you're used to just going out and getting that and having those types of relationships. It's kind of related to number one, where it's like building your value system that you won't compromise for short-term hookups. But you got to be able to say no, because especially with girls who are high drama and they're just going to suck you in, like you're going to get so into them because they're super hot or the sex is super awesome, but you know, like there's just so much other bullshit that comes with it. It becomes very difficult to pull yourself away from it. So you have to train yourself and be fucking strong and say no to that stuff. Okay? Stand strong and be like, you know what? I know I'm going to get wrapped up in this shit. I'm going to get sucked in. I just got to say no and not even dip my foot in that pool. I didn't say this would be easy, guys. But I'm telling you, this is what you need to do if you do want to get past those fling things and go into something a bit deeper. Okay? Lastly, for this video, I'm going to tell you is Learn to look for green flags. Learn to look for qualities in a woman that are really good for something more substantial and long term. And the reason why I say this is because, obviously, yeah, it's easy to see red flags, especially nowadays. You have so many content creators out there that are telling you, she's this, single mom, tattoos, piercings, that sort of, it's become pretty common knowledge now of things to look for. There's a lot of different red flags and stuff to look for, which is good to, obviously you need to know these things, but you also need to know the green flags. So I'm going to give you a couple of green flags that you should be looking for. Now, this one is obvious. It's like sort of a reverse, like when you hear girls who have a daddy issue, it's like, oh, that's a red flag. So the reverse of that is that she really loves her dad or gets along with both of her parents. And if you meet a girl who hangs out with her dad, respects her dad, talks about her dad in a loving way, green flag. I mean, obviously. And why is that a green flag? It's because she sees the most important man in her life in a good way and respects him. That respect will translate to her relationship with you as long as you're bringing good masculine leadership and she respects you. She will treat you the same way and look up to you the same way she does to him. Very important. Okay, that's a good green flag. Another green flag that maybe you wouldn't think of is, does she respect your family? Like when you're first getting to know a girl and maybe somehow you introduce her earlier on somehow, or even the way she talks about your family if she hasn't met them yet, is she seemingly respectful? Like, let's say she does end up going to your place or meeting your parents or something like that. Does she kind of think about presenting herself in a good way? Does she like she thinks that like I gotta like look good. I want to look presentable so they have a good impression on them. Some women will be like, hey, let me get a little gift for your parents if we're going over to their house. That's a really good sign. So those are some of those little details, those little nuances that show she's considerate, she's caring, she is concerned about what they think of her. Because the opposite would be girls who just don't give a shit. They kind of just maybe dressing inappropriately. Their attitude is kind of blasé towards your parents. Not the best sign, right? Okay. It's another good green flag. Another good green flag that I like this one. A lot of the guys I work with, they've been experiencing this one, which is girls who don't seem to have much experience. Now, I know this might be comical because it's like very talked about, women with the high body count being a red flag, right? We kind of know that already. But the green flag is a girl who has had a long-term boyfriend in the past. Maybe she's gone with one guy, maybe two guys, and they were long-term. Why this is a green flag is because it tells you she knows how to like build something longer. Because like if they had gone out for a few years, there were probably some ups and downs like anybody has. But it shows you that she has gone through things, they've worked it out, and things lasted. It wasn't just a quick fling, it wasn't like a 3-month thing, 6-month thing. Over and over and over again, it was a long-term thing. So she knows how to build something. And it may not have worked out in the end, but it shows a longevity there, and that is a green flag. So these are some things to consider now. These are some solutions for you guys, because I want to provide some sort of solution, because like I said, that viewer was correct. I didn't offer too much. It was more of like sharing with you the idea of what guys who can hook up well with women tend to do, just to open your eyes to that. But these are some things that I think, practice these things. This will really help you towards building something more than just hooking up. If, like I said, if this is what you want. If you like the Playboy lifestyle, which is great, and you're doing that well, then keep doing what you're doing. Like, you already know how to do it. You're meeting girls, you're hooking up, you're having fun. That's great. But if you want long term, these are things that will help you get closer to that. Okay. And again, I'm going to repeat this one more time. There's pickup skills, where you meet women. There's dating skills, the whole courtship process, and then there's relationship skills of how to go through something long term, which is, in my coaching, we cover these things in great depth. So, Yeah, I think this does solve some of the questions that that gentleman had earlier about solutions to how to handle this. So if not, drop me a comment, ask me a question down there if you want me to explain anything more. But I'm sure I will be getting to these pickup dating relationship topics in future videos. But this is it for today's video. So I'll see you gentlemen in the next one.